By the way, the definition of the word retard is to hinder or to hold someone back. I think your life is about to become retarded.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
A new week. It's Monday. It's a new week. It's a new month. February 2nd, 2026. And it's 7 o'clock. And we're sitting here nestled in this cozy studio in Westchester on the East Coast of the United States. I hope that you guys are enjoying yourself. Hope you had a great weekend. It was definitely eventful. I don't know what's going on in your personal lives. I hope that was nice and relaxing. But if you plugged into the Matrix at all, if you spent any time kicking around in the Matrix and the Oasis to see what's going on elsewhere, boy, oh boy, were you served up a lot. We were talking about riding the precious metals roller coaster. That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. We're going to talk to, in just a few minutes, Dr. Robin McCutcheon. Bringing on Robin, I had her on the schedule for weeks and weeks thinking, hey, it'll be good, new year, get some forecasting, talk about the economy, talk about precious metals. This is before everything started happening with silver popping off to over $100. Now it's under that again, but it's still trading over 100 in some parts of the world. It's just I wonder what the hell's going on, because some people are saying that it is a harbinger for really awful things and one of the greatest heists. A heist, they're saying. An absolute heist. So maybe Robin can talk to us about that. She is a professor at Marshall University for economics, and she's on with us in the first hour to talk about that whole thing and where we are on the road to redemption as she sees it. Of course, I want to know what she thinks about all of the Epstein stuff. By the way, no matter where you're watching the show at 7 o'clock, if you go to the YouTube real quick, there is a live chat poll in there that I would love for you guys to get in on. Here is the chat poll. Just make sure that I get you guys all down here. Here we go. You ready? So live in the poll right now, there's only 122 people have voted, but then again, we just started. What's the craziest story from the weekend? Was it Egyptian Nephilim? We'll talk about that some other night. There's no way we can do everything in just tonight. The latest Epstein release, which we're talking about over 3 million documents, pieces of email, just data. There's just so much that's being picked through right now. Every hour or so, somebody finds something even more, breathtaking. And that's what I'm saying. That every time we got an Epstein drop, or every time we got a WikiLeaks drop, it's usually just the same warmed over nonsense. I don't know how much of this has been verified, how much of it is authenticated. Obviously, there's some stuff that is not what it seems. There are some stuff that people are blowing out of proportion just on the face of it. But there's just so much stuff we've never seen before. And it is in your face. It is grisly. And it's definitely new. That's for sure. So we got to do that. In the second half, I want to take your calls, and I want all of your theories that accompany the best of the worst of from this weekend's dig into the latest batch of Epstein file. I'm sure that's going to be, it's not going to be the last of it. We have Jay Gulanello on tomorrow night, and he already found a couple of things Bill Gates related and health related and everything else that will be right up his alley. But of course, Jay can touch on just about anything, and that'll be amazing. But for tonight, in the studio throughout it all is my cousin Sheri. Sheri, how you doing?
Hello.
How you feeling?
I'm doing well.
Yes.
I have one question for you.
What is it?
Are you still talking about Epstein?
Is there still talking about? I know. Listen, there are so many points to be made tonight.
Disgraced financier?
I know. The Epstein, the Netflix, what the guy from Netflix?
Yeah, James Patterson wrote a book about him once, I think.
By the way, I have your book.
Which one?
The James Patterson book.
I gave. Yeah.
That's yours.
I read that. Yeah.
I meant to bring it back to you tonight.
It's cool, man.
I'm
good.
I'm good. I went through it all. I don't know.
It's juicy, but not as juicy as the stuff that's coming out.
No, not at all. I mean, and I've got some stuff for tonight. I had to just get the top of it. I mean, we got everything from, the Hitler. We got some Hitler backstory stuff.
Hitler was in the Epstein?
Oh, I mean, he was talking to, I don't know if he was talking directly to one of the Rothschilds ancestors, one of the newer contemporary lineage or whatever, but they actually, and that's why I say, some people are looking at these emails and they're saying, this is almost like Charlie Kirk shooter Discord level of, just
Pizzagate is
disclosure.
back in a big way.
Yeah, but
gotta love it.
Here's what you got to remember. Whatever the hell we see in this, just remember that all of the work that was done prior to this weekend is what needs to be studied, because there's no telling how much of this shit is just poisoning the well. You just don't know.
The fact that it's been redacted and that people were put on the job for how many months or whatever, a year, they've been just taking names off of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just by that alone, I probably wouldn't listen if there wasn't so many juicy things that are coming out. I don't know. On the Hitler it's
front,
entertainment.
There was, for years, depending on where you're reading, I really started going down that rabbit hole for the first time after I found the work of Myron Fagan many years ago. And I've shared that particular recording of his from the 1960s about the CFR and the Illuminati many times.
Oh, okay.
But since then, I actually found all like 300. I don't know if it's about. It wasn't 300 pamphlets, but I paid about $300 for them. He had newsletters that he was mailing out to people back in the 1960s. And I said, I need to find all the original Myron Fagan newsletters, and I found them. Wow. And we're talking about a guy who came up and really made his way in old school turn of the 20th century Broadway. He was like a screenwriter, playwright, actor, all that stuff. So he saw things like when the Red infiltration coming into Broadway, all of that, Marxist Bolshevik kind of messaging, and like the early 20th century propaganda pieces like that Melting Pot play and stuff like that. But he goes into everything, the roots of anti-Semitism and the rabble rousing of not only and creation of class warfare narratives, but also race warfare narratives in this country and what it all means. That's where I all started. And also, it was the first time I ever saw a real alternative view on who was funding Hitler, from Krupp and the Warburgs and the Rothschilds. And they talk about this. There's a little exchange on there about Hitler and the Rothschilds in this.
Well, so in that way, it's parallel to the Candace investigation, because that's kind of going to all those places also.
What is she doing now?
I mean, it keeps going, but I think she's really trying to build the picture of who would have the motivation to kill him. So she's doing a lot of this, looking back at who these families are, and then it goes into the history of psychology. So it seems to kind of go to strange places, but really it's doing what Q did. It's doing what these Epstein drops are doing. It's just showing people this hidden history that they need to kind of grasp in order to understand where we are.
Are you talking about kill him? We're talking about Epstein now?
Well, to wanting to kill Charlie Kirk. Because, why would Israel have the motivation to kill him? Well, it's not really Israel. It's this group of people that, are in power now, but they've been doing the same thing through all these many years.
It's whatever.
Subversive, satanic group.
You know what it is?
Whatever you want to call it.
Going back to Myron Fagan, for example, he talked about going the 18th century, May Day, Adam Weishaupt putting together the charter for the Illuminati, and how when all that blew up and that all blew up in his face. Really, that's when it started getting into a little bit more of, instead of being a real put together front group, we're going to be in all groups. So that's why I always tend to just not go too crazy about labeling anything one. I mean, you can see how there is interests that have converged.
Yeah.
And you can tell what direction everybody's uniformly walking into, and you can tell what the motivation is. Yeah. And then to start shooting at each other in a circular firing squad to make sure that we all have the nomenclature down and we're calling it the same things is sometimes it's counterproductive. You say, okay, well, listen, we see where this is going, and let's just shine light on the dark places and hope for the best. And if there's nothing we can do to stop it, let's all just prepare our souls for whatever the hell's coming next.
Right.
I don't know.
At least we know what it is. You need to know what it is you're fighting against.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that for sure. We're gonna have plenty of time, and I really hope that the audience calls in and joins us in the second half. For now, we are bringing on Robin McCutcheon, Dr. Robin McCutcheon, and we have had so many amazing conversations with Robin over the years, and now it is the beginning, or actually, no, it's not really the beginning. It's just a new year of having conversations with Robin. Robin, welcome to the show, and let me introduce you to my cousin Sheri.
Hi, Robin.
Well, it's very nice to meet you, Sheri.
Nice to meet you. I've watched you many times, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what's going on with Silver.
Oh, well, we have to start there. First of all, Robin, how's your holidays? And I have something to share with you when you're done telling me.
Holidays were great. They were very quiet. I didn't go anywhere. I spent most of my holiday getting ready for the spring semester. So it was good.
That's good.
I should have had my husband completely do a new install on my computer, but I did not do that.
You know what? It works. You're here. The phone call's happening, and that's all that matters. As a personal aside, I was gifted as a part of my Secret Santa. My sister-in-law got me in Secret Santa this year, and part of her gifts for me came this little Christmas tree shaped tin. And when I opened it up, the smell of brandy just hit me in the face, and I finally, there they were, Robin McCutcheon's brandy balls, and they were incredible. They were incredible, and they had been, that they had been sitting in the freezer, just soaking for like 7 weeks. They were very, very potent, but they're just so tasty. I want more of them. I want them for 4th of July.
Well, when you make them in July and you tuck them away, maybe you don't have to put them in the freezer, but tuck them away in a cool, dark place. And let me tell you, by Christmas, you will be flying.
I believe it 100%. Okay. Listen, last time we spoke, we were talking, as we usually do, about what the path forward is going to be with the financial reset that puts us more in line with sovereignty, not only as a nation, but as individuals. And obviously, we're always going to bring up silver and gold when that happens. You love to highlight the state's individual efforts in making gold and silver legal tender a lot more of a popular thing. But here's this. I have a Bark Meta tweet over here that has to do with all this crazy movement with the silver and gold over the weekend. Here's what they said on January 30th, a couple days ago. Just got off the phone with a friend in D.C. with high-level clearance at the Fed. Today's gold and silver crash was much worse than we initially thought. He confirmed at least one bank is insolvent, not just underwater, completely liquidated. He hasn't seen anything like this since 2008. The situation is 100 times deeper than anyone can imagine, and now the markets are closed. Most people are heading into the weekend having no idea what's waiting for them on Monday, but we're all about to find out. Well, it's Monday, and I don't know what the hell happened. But can you explain from your point of view what was going on with this incredible spike in the spot price of silver, and then this incredible deflation?
So to get a good understanding of this, we've got to go back a few years to see what was happening in the past. How did we get here? And if we go back about maybe 10 years to the point where solar panels were really rocking up, electric vehicles were getting a rolling start, people are buying cell phones and flat screen TVs and iPads, and every piece of electronics that we have has silver in it. For example, my son has solar panels on his house, and every solar panel has a couple of grams of silver in it. Now, this silver in solar panels and our electric toys is unretrievable because we don't have an economical way of taking the silver out when that item is cast away. So that kind of silver it's considered used up because it's going to end up in a landfill somewhere, still inside of its whatever object it was in. And then we get to about 5 years ago, and the amount of silver that's pulled out of the ground, it's about 800 million ounces. But about 5 years ago, the amount of silver that was being consumed, and I mean with jewelry and all the electronics and bullion bars and coins and such, the amount of silver that was being demanded was about 1 billion ounces. So we're in a deficit by 200 million ounces starting about 5 years ago, every single year. So now we're in a kind of a pickle because we're using more silver than we're pulling out of the ground, which means we're using up our stockpiles worldwide of silver. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So about 5 years ago, the price of silver was, I don't know, somewhere around $22, $23 an ounce, maybe, or a little bit more. And then it started creeping up, and then it crept up a little more and a little more. And by the time we got to a year ago, silver, I think, was right around $32, right? Just a year from today, right around $32. Maybe it was 35. And at the same time, all of that excess demand is happening, we have some other things going on in the world. The BRICS nations, the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, that consortium, it begins to grow to about 120 countries around the world. And in their, I guess you would call it rules, they're going to trade each other's currency, and they're going to back their currency with gold or silver. So now gold and silver become in big demand. Okay, so now fast forward a little bit into the middle of 2025. President Trump declares gold as a, what do they call it? A critical mineral. And this is in response to the Basel III requirements, which is an international banking regulation that kind of sprang out of the 2008-2009 financial crash that told banks all across the world that they had to have tier one assets, and gold was reclassified as a tier one asset, which means it's money. It's recognized internationally as money. And then in the middle of the summer, President Trump reclassified silver and copper as critical minerals. So now we've got a situation where banks are being told through Basel III that they have to hold tier 1 assets, gold. They could hold silver. And people other than bullion dealers like Andy Shankman and Bix Weir and, you know, some of the big names, the big silver dealer names, people are beginning to realize that silver is in short supply. We're not pulling enough out of the ground. I don't know if you recall, but President Trump, somewhere around in October or November, said, hey, we're going to open up some silver mines and we're going to build some new silver refineries. And that's because China is essentially the world's silver refinery. They refine 60% of the world's silver. And then January 1st comes around. And as we're all celebrating, China puts in a new rule that only 44 of their biggest silver dealers, bullion dealers, can export silver. So in other words, China closes the door on exporting silver out of their country. Now, this does some really cool stuff because on January 2nd, the price of silver was about, I don't know, $72, we'll call it $70. It was right around that price. China basically shuts down the amount of silver that they're sending across the world. Now, you can send your silver to the Shanghai Exchange in China, or you can send it to Hong Kong, but you'll never get it back. So we're short silver supply. We're consuming too much. 60 to 80% of the silver that comes out of the ground goes into those unrecoverable, use it up kind of toys, not just
including war,
panels.
including missiles too, including missiles. There's a lot of that.
Yep,
you blow it up.
Yep, missiles. And then Samsung comes out with this brand new silver battery that's going to take 1.5 kilos of silver. Well, that's what, 50 ounces of silver? So now at the beginning of the year, January, now more people than just you and I and the Andy Shankmans of the world are beginning to realize, oh shit, we don't have enough silver. And the price starts going up. Now, you wanted to know how JP Morgan and the banks play into all this.
Yes.
Well, over in Chicago at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the COMEX, they have this cool little deal going where they trade paper silver contracts. So you can buy a contract for 5,000 ounces. I think every contract has 5,000 ounces in it. And you can buy a paper contract of 5,000 silver ounces for delivery in February, say, at a certain price. And if that price goes up before the delivery date happens, you can sell that contract and then you pay back what you owe the COMEX and you pocket the rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a normal kind of a trade. The thing is you can also sell that contract without having any silver behind it. And it's called naked shorting. I've never done it myself. I've never been that brave. I've never wanted to lose my ass over this. But these naked shorts began to be more prominently noticed, I guess I want to put it that way, in the month of January. And there was a rumor running around all the little places where I hide out and I listen to these people like the Andy Shankmans of the world. And the rumor was that at $65, big banks that were short silver contracts were going to go belly up. Nothing happened. 65 came and went, 70, 75, 85 came and went. Pretty soon we're pushing $100 an ounce on these paper contracts. And then we get to Thursday last week. Now, Thursday last week, the price of silver kind of topped out in the cash portion. And the January contract was getting ready to expire the 29th, which I think was Thursday. And it topped out at about $121 an ounce. And that's when the selling started. And it was almost like you had, I'm just going to say, for example, the 8 biggest banks in the world all of a sudden decided to dump all of their naked shorts onto the market in order to push the price of silver down. Because if you're going to deliver a contract on January 29th, you'd much rather deliver a contract at $85 than you would $120.
Right.
And so the selling, the dumping of the naked contract started on Thursday, January 29th. And I looked at that and I went, look at that. Isn't that interesting? That looks like a run on the bank. And then Friday came and the dumping of contracts continued and accelerated. And every time they pushed the price of silver down, every time it popped up even just $1 or $2, they'd dump more contracts. They dumped and dumped and dumped, and somewhere around 1:15 in the afternoon, the paper price of a silver ounce dropped to $74. And then it kind of hovered there for a bit, and then it started creeping back up, but no more dumping occurred in such fabulous amounts that it pushed the price back down under 80.
So
now,
wait, and before we move on to the next part there, when this was all happening, a lot of people who I follow on the internet for a little bit more real-time commentary on these issues, especially with precious metals, were talking about how there was such an incredible amount of wealth that was just rearranged and wiped out. So essentially, because as you're talking, I'm reading about naked short selling right now. Who makes off with that? And so if all that's wiped out, where did the value get relocated?
Well, remember, we're talking about pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Pieces of paper that people say are valuable because supposedly there's an ounce of silver behind every contract. There was no silver. It's paper. It's wealth on somebody's spreadsheet. So at the end of Friday, January 30th, $10 trillion in paper money just vanishes.
10
Doesn't
trillion.
go anywhere.
10 trillion.
Nobody got it. It was never there to begin with, Frank. It was never there to begin with because the COMEX is a fake market. And on Thursday and Friday last week, that's where people who were not Andy Shankman, who haven't been paying attention to anything like this, forever, suddenly woke up and went, oh my God, the whole damn market is manipulated. It's a fake market. It's all they do is they trade paper. Here, 2 contracts. Now we've got 4.
Did anybody benefit from that?
Yeah, you're talking $10 trillion.
Yeah, that was $10 trillion that the banks didn't owe to the COMEX. Did not owe to the COMEX because it just vanished.
And meanwhile, you see, that's the other thing there too. So now let's bring it back down to people, everyday people. Because someone like me or anybody out there, if you've got a little bit, I mean, there's only a certain amount of stacking that I will even allow myself to do, because if we do have to pick up and get out of town, I need to be able to put it in my car, and you can't be physically weighed down by this stuff. So I never look at it as a store of all the value that all the wealth you've ever created in your life. It's just something to have around. But people were they're having a little bit of a fear of missing out kind of a situation there, almost like with the whole crypto casino conditions that we felt a couple of years ago, where everybody's like, hey, well, where can I buy some crypto so my $100 can turn into 5,000? Not really understanding the technology, the application for it all. They just see something that is little becoming big for no reason other than it's like a casino. With the silver and the gold here, there's a lot of people who are like, oh man, I started buying it at $85 dollars an ounce, and now it's down a little bit less than that, and I feel like I missed it. Like, no, you talk a little bit more about why you hold onto stuff like this, and why it's important to not let all of what just happened screw with your head. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Okay, so if you pay $80 for 1 ounce of silver, and you're holding it in your hand, and that 1 ounce of silver is valued by the market, not the COMEX necessarily, but people out in the world start valuing that ounce of silver at $90 or $100, you have protected the buying power of your dollar by buying an ounce of silver or an ounce of gold. When you buy silver, and I've told this to a lot of people, when you buy silver and when you buy gold, you are buying wealth. You are trading your fake fiat currency for wealth. And you are never, unless you absolutely have to, you are never going to get rid of it, because what you're going to do is you're going to hold on to that. And then when Aurora turns 30, in 2 years, it'll seem like that. When Aurora turns 30, or when she turns 40, you're going to hand her this little pile of wealth that she doesn't have to pay for with her money. That's completely devalued if we stay with the Federal Reserve note. So when you buy silver and you buy gold, you buy it to protect the buying power of your fiat currency, knowing that as we go through time, people will begin to value it more and more, using more of their fiat currency to buy their little pieces of wealth. And so, for the people, funny thing is, on Thursday and Friday, when people who were in the COMEX losing their shit because all of a sudden their 5,000 contracts were worth less, not worthless, but worth less, and they weren't going to be able to get their money out of it, everyone who has stacked silver sat around going, look at that. Yeah. Imagine that. So, I mean, the silver stackers and the gold stackers and the retail buyers is what we call them. Unless they bought at 120 and were freaking out, the rest of us were sitting around going, look at that. Isn't that interesting? That's how I was looking at the market. I was not freaked out. I was laughing my ass off, because over in Shanghai, how much is the value of 1 ounce of silver over in Shanghai, China? If you had to pay for it in US dollars, how much would you be paying for that 1 ounce of silver?
Well, I think that at one point yesterday, in Shanghai, and I look at something like this and I say, it's China and whatever. Is it actually even really silver? But at one point yesterday, an ounce is $163 in Shanghai.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is right now, but as of yesterday, it was up that high.
And that's before you even pay the VAT tax, which is, I think, 13%. And that's if they even let it out of China.
Yeah.
And over in Mumbai, India, the price was almost as comparable. So in other words, if you took your little stash of silver coins and you walked it over to Mumbai and you wanted to sell them for US dollars, you would be making triple your money almost, or double your money. But nobody in their right mind is going to sell their stack unless it's, some catastrophe has happened and they have to, because that stack is wealth. First of all, it has protected the buying power of your dollar. And if we get into, if the shit hits the fan and you have to get out of Dodge, my mother always told me you have to have some silver to pay off the border guards.
Yeah. Something. I mean, either that or chickens. I mean, you're back to bartering, and that's
right.
Yeah,
right.
And that's really
so. So the whole thing that was going on Thursday and Friday, my son started stacking silver some time back, and so he and I were talking back and forth over the weekend, and we're kind of going, so what is the market going to do on Monday? And I said, I don't know. And I said, it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to start hiking back up because the people who sold off their naked shorts and their contracts on Friday are all out of ammunition, and they don't have enough borrowing power to borrow more money to buy more contracts to dump them out again. So either the price of silver is going to start hiking up, or the people who were dumping silver on Friday are going to continue to dump to press the market down even further. And as far as I could tell today, the price of silver hung right around, I don't know, $82, $83 an ounce, pretty steady. So there was either no massive dumping, or there was just enough dumping to keep that price of silver pretty steady.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of action that was going on Thursday and Friday was very curious.
Oh yeah.
And you know, our good friends over at JP Morgan were in up to their eyeballs in it.
That's what was being said on even if you don't have any really working knowledge of how this is, there's no doubt about it that it was planned. And and if you're someone like me, you wonder how much of what just happened right now is completely legal. And I don't know anything in the world that is completely legal anymore. But Robin, you know what? On that, I want to talk about, because this is also an economic issue. We haven't spoken since. I want to get this out of the way. Then I want to ask you about all the Epstein stuff, because we're going to be spending a lot of time on that in the second hour. In just after Christmas, around New Year's, is when we got Nick Shirley's work in Minnesota, exposing the kind of stuff that's just coming out of a couple of different categories of programs in Minnesota, a hyper-local market that was generating tens of billions of dollars worth of fraud. Now we have this coming out of California. Let me just, I'll read this. It's from Wall Street Apes. The fraud being exposed in California is insane. 18% of the whole country's home health care, this is all from hospice. 18% of the whole country's home health care billing is coming out of Los Angeles County. One doctor billed the government $120 million in a single year, claiming to oversee 1,900 patients. With almost 2,000 hospice agencies, Los Angeles County has more than 36 states combined and 30 times more than the whole state of Florida and New York. Here's a quote. How is that possible? And take a look at this map, a cluster of 287 hospice providers in a 2-mile radius, some in strip malls, unmarked buildings, even a wrecking yard and a vacant lot. All of this is just paperwork. I could fill that out in Kazakhstan if I want to get a hospice license waiting for me. Robin, we're talking about, I mean, we actually might be able to pay off the debt. I always said that the debt is unpayable, but if we were to cut 75%, at least 75% of all the spending that the federal government does, all illegal, but if we were taking 75% off the top, I really do believe that the average American would not even know it was being spent in the first place, because all of this stuff is just it's just being skimmed out of the country and washed through God knows how many war zones and crypto slush funds and who the hell knows. Just talk a little bit about the kinds of money and the implications of all these exposés we've been seeing since December.
Well, remember about a year ago, maybe a little bit more, there was this cool new thing that President Trump and Elon Musk rolled out called Doge.
Yeah.
Well, that worked like a charm.
and the Democrats had a freak out because, oh my God, what are they going to find? They found everything. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they didn't have just 6 20-year-old computer hackers. I'm sure they had thousands of people in the government running through all of the computer systems. And do you remember sometime around in, oh gosh, maybe it was March 2025, Elon Musk sat down with Ted Cruz to have a little, fireside chat. And Elon Musk said, by the way, we found 17 magic money computers.
Yes, I remember these.
Print money. They found, what was it, 17 or 14? 14 magic money computers. A couple in the US Treasury, and the rest of them scattered around about through the government. And they just print money. They just send digits wherever somebody wants to send them. And it was at that point I went, that $38 trillion in debt on the US debt clock, we don't owe that money.
No, we don't.
That money's been stolen from us. Social Security has never been going broke. Those bastards stole it. All of it. Honestly, do we really think a government with 3 million people in it could not steal $38 trillion everywhere? And every time more money is found that has been laundered or thieved from us, the Democrats lose their shit, and there we go, more riots in that city. I just heard yesterday, and it's rumor only, that there's something like $80 billion in money laundering just in Minnesota.
Wow.
80 billion. Just now, multiply that by another 49 states, and I'll bet you California is 10 times worse. I'll bet you we're talking trillions of dollars that has been stolen, money laundered, thieved away. Frank, when you said skimming, all I could see was the dump truck dumping the money out into people's pockets. And the Democrats and the Republicans are in this, both of them together are in this up to their eyeballs. You know it. Everybody in Minnesota, from the governor all the way down to the dog catcher, is going to be found to be up to their eyeballs in this.
What do you think? Okay, speaking of Doge, because that's one of those things now where we're almost a year. Well, we are a year away, a year removed from the inauguration. That thing getting kicked off February and March of last year. Oh, the hand wringing over Doge was incredible, and for a while there, it was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Now it's been very quiet since then. Obviously, there was this.
Are you sure?
Well, for the most of everybody's looking for signs of life, and we're being assured by people here and there, oh, something's happening. But again, all we know is that there are some really big problems in the legislative branch, and that is what you're going to need to have in line to make any real country restoring changes permanent. And people are just wondering what's going to happen, if at all, and how is it going to be done with any kind of permanence. So what do you think about this? Because you're always very optimistic, but also realistic.
Okay, well, this is going to sound cutthroat, but I think Doge has kept rolling on throughout the federal system. Do you think it's an accident that Nick Shirley showed up in Minnesota pointing out all these Leering centers?
No, I've always said that. Listen, I know that he has.
Not an accident.
He's got a lot of people. No. Anybody in his situation has tip lines and emails.
That's right.
Totally.
That's right. He had people who was, so now Nick Shirley is in California. How many more Nick Shirleys do we have? I don't know, but we're going to find out that our government system at the federal level, the state level, and the local level is completely, totally corrupt. And if we're going to be waiting on those assholes in Congress in Washington to do anything, we're going to be waiting until pigs fly. Now, what just got dropped on Thursday and Friday? 3 million Epstein documents.
Yeah.
How many people over the weekends dug into those 3 million documents and started shooting out names here and names there? And what names were we not seeing? Democrats, people in Congress. What happens when the next round of Epstein files reveals that 97% of our federal Congress has been Epsteined?
And that's what you assume is going to be.
Somebody got them. They can't.
One can only hope.
Honestly, those people have been bought and paid for. We really ought to have stickers of, all of their sponsors. Who bought them? Who paid for them? It wasn't us. They don't work for us. They haven't worked for us in 50 years. And so you see how people are out there and they're saying, oh, this guy's on the list and that guy's on the list and JP Morgan showed up. And what happens when the next dump shows you all the federal, state, and local people that were wrapped up in this? How do you trust your federal government if they've been up to their eyeballs on the Lolita Express? What do you do?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Because
I think what's going to happen is this is just some stupid wild ass guess. So swagging. I think in my wildest dreams, I see the U.S. Marshals marching down through the well of the Congress with handcuffs rattling off their fingers and them arresting every single fucking asshole in Congress.
Oh man, that's a fantasy I can get on with. Yeah. It is I have even wilder dreams than that, Robin.
Oh, well, don't get me started too much. But okay, so what do we do when we find out that Congress has been up to their eyeballs in money laundering and diddling kids and loving their Pizzagate parties? What do? We can't trust them. So what do? Somebody's got to step in and run the country. And it can't be those jerks. It's going to have to be the military, Frank. Because
That's
everything
scary.
falls back to the military. The military are not there to protect President Trump. The military are there to protect our U.S. Constitution. Remember the phrase, all enemies, foreign and domestic? The enemies are inside the gates. They've been inside the gates for 50 years.
Yeah. No, well, I've often thought about that here too, because we love going through American history and talking about the roots and the concepts and, the inspiration for our Constitution and the Articles of Confederation before that. But this is a completely different type. There's no way that a foreign enemy would be able to invade the United States and win. It would have to have been a different kind of war. And then
infiltration.
And when when we're at this phase, I always wonder, well, what's going to have to be done? Because there's going to get to a point where, like, for example, I look at all these people in, whether it be Los Angeles or Minnesota, or even the morons that took turns making one statement after another for an audience of pampered clapping seals at the Grammys last night. I said to myself, if 90 million illegal aliens were removed, if I can snap my fingers and have them removed tomorrow, the biggest problem we have would still remain. And those are those traitors, the traitors that we have behind the gates, and also an incredible army of unthinking minions that are working in schools. I know you probably brushed shoulders with many of those people over the years. I mean, we think about that, the news, various areas of our entertainment industry. I mean, that's the real problem there. That's where the messaging comes from. That's where all the middle-aged white moms in Minnesota are willing. That's why they're willing to brave the cold and potentially a bullet through the head to leave their kids motherless for what? I mean, there's people are out of their minds, and that has an origin story too. So,
Right.
you know, that's, I often wonder about that, because you can't, you're not going to be able to vote away the mental illness that we're really up
Right.
against right now.
No, that's true. That's very true. You can't vote it away. But, you know, we have been brainwashed. We have been programmed since before World War II. Been after World War II, when the TV era started really ramping up. The amount of programming that we all went through as children and young adults, and it lulled us into a almost like a mass formation psychosis, a deep sleep where critical thinking was not useful. People were encouraged not to use their brains, encouraged not to think. You know, that was not the done deal. It was just better to go with the flow. And these last 25 years since 9/11 has rocked a lot of people off of that very sleepy platform. And they've begun asking questions. And the more questions you ask, maybe you don't get all the answers, but the more questions you ask, the more you break yourself out of that brainwashing and out of that that stupor of sleep. And you know, that's where programs like yours come in really handy, because you're constantly asking questions and you're constantly pushing down the rabbit holes to find the answers, or a answer. It might not be the right one, but at least it's leading you in the right direction. With respect to the infiltration by our political class or our political elites, I want to direct your attention to Executive Order 13818 and 13848. And those two executive orders have made it possible that when child trafficking has been found, or any kind of election interference by foreign adversaries has been found, those people or companies involved will have their assets stripped from them. Now,
That's cool.
I remember
We're not
those.
really-
That was from Trump 1.0, right?
Yes, it was.
I remember those.
I think that
Yes.
that's what Venezuela is about right now. I think it's voting machines. I don't think it's drug boats.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where my only interest in Venezuela lie, because it was
Yeah.
sold with election. I don't, you know.
Yeah, because Maduro was saying, I saw an interview with him where he was saying that they have so much information, and I just think that, you know, they're probably talking to him right now and getting him to cut some sort of deal where he outs the whole thing.
I'm sure he sang like a bird.
Mm.
Well, I hope so, because
And,
the charging
well-
documents we got were only machine gun and cocaine. You know, it's like what you
Right,
like
right.
you flew a nighttime raid, a special operations raid into Caracas.
Did you hear that they
because
used,
of
like, EMP?
cocaine? It's like
Yeah.
I mean, our CIA deals more drugs and guns than that.
Well,
So
see, and that's the part of the problem, right? We've got pieces and parts of our federal government, our three-letter agencies that are not our friends. They're part of the infiltration. You remember, John F. Kennedy Sr., when he was president, said that he wanted to shatter the CIA into 10,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. Well, what do you think President Trump is doing with the CIA
I don't know.
and the FBI?
I haven't heard a
know.
lot about the CIA at all.
And I know it looks like Pam Bondi isn't doing anything, but maybe that's her role, is to look like she's doing nothing. It's like a look over here, while something over there is really happening behind the scenes.
Well, you're making me feel hopeful.
Okay, well, let me make you feel
lost
more
all that
hope.
hope.
Let me make you feel more hopeful. Those two executive orders that I laid out, 13818 and 13848, those are the two executive orders that will strip people who are child predators and child traffickers of all their money, all of it. Now, if you want to, did you notice that the riots up in Minnesota were kind of paltry looking? Yeah, I know it was cold weather, but those are Minnesotans. They're used to that shit. Those were all paid protesters, but there wasn't a whole lot of them. And yeah, you got a few weird ass mothers out of their mind bringing their 7-year-olds to protest. How do we know they're not paid?
Oh, they're all paid.
How do we know the whole thing wasn't just a grand staged operation to make people go, oh my gosh, look at Minnesota, while over here in West Virginia, they round up 650 illegals. No protests, no riots, nobody noticed, nobody cared. West Virginians are going, yes, take more of them.
Yeah. No, Robin, that's something I was saying from the very beginning. It's so obvious of what's happening here. I mean, you can where with whatever resources they have left, and you, who knows what's left in the slush fund? Because if we're talking,
wait a minute,
okay,
we're going to get more hopeful. Sheri wants some more hope. Well, what if just back there on Thursday and Friday, all those banks were dumping their naked shorts? Maybe they were dumping their shorts too. Maybe there was somebody with lots and lots of money ammo that really got the ball rolling. And then all of a sudden these banks are like, holy fuck, I owe so much money on these shorts, I've got to dump them right now. What if the big bank that went under was JP Morgan?
What
if and what was the prominent bank name in the Epstein files that just came out? Oh, that's right, JP Morgan.
Oh.
What if the whole operation on Thursday and Friday was just that? It was an operation in order to strip the assets out of the 4 biggest banks in the United States because they have been the intermediaries of the child trafficking in the United States. What if?
That would be delightful.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is the worst thing that you can do to some of these people? It's not kill them. It's not put them in Gitmo. It's make them poor. Make them poor. Take all their money. I got a bridge you can go sleep under.
I love it.
I'm just asking, what if?
So happy.
What ifs are complete. I want to hear everybody's what ifs. When you, Robin, when you get off the air with us,
I never hear good ones. This is fantastic.
The lines are going to be
good, isn't it?
Everybody at home, please take Robin's example here. When the phone lines go open, I want everybody to call in with their what ifs. I know that there's going to be people who are a little bit more black pilled, but I want to hear the clown pills. I want to hear everything tonight. There's something to it all. And I don't know. I feel that there's a pregnant anticipation right now. And
let me give you one more layer of silver lining.
Okay.
So out in the world, all of the countries that are using fiat currency that have printed themselves into oblivion are all of a sudden realizing that their currencies are worthless. And more people are turning back to gold and silver, which is real money. And I see coming a shift in the financial system where the Federal Reserve note goes away and is replaced by a US note backed by silver and gold. Honest money, sound currency. So it doesn't matter if wash or washcloth or paper towel is our Federal Reserve chairman. The Federal Reserve was put up under the umbrella of the US Treasury in February 2020. It hasn't been its own independent body for 5-6 years. So who gives a flying rat's ass who's in charge of it? It doesn't matter.
They sure keep acting. They sure keep acting like it's the Alan Greenspan years.
I know that's the thing though. It's look over here, not over there, because there's other shit coming down. The BRICS countries are trading with each other using their bridge system, their stable coin currency that is completely backed by assets. They've been using that now for 2 solid years. They're not using the Federal Reserve note. They're not using the U.S. Treasury bond or any of the bills. Nobody's going to be using that. And at some point, as President Trump and Judy Shelton said, they're going to back the bonds with gold, which means we don't need a Federal Reserve, which means we don't need an IRS. And as people are writing out their taxes, going, God damn it, they're stealing my fucking money. Every time I write another dollar down, they're going to steal it. I think we're going to see a real life tax revolt. Wouldn't surprise me at all if 50% of the people out there tell the IRS, go fuck yourself. I'm not sending you any money.
I mean, especially when you think about, again, whenever Donald Trump dangles the carrot, and he does it, I feel every couple of weeks, where he says, you know, there's not going to be an income tax. We're going to be making so much money. As you know, there's no way in hell, heaven or hell, that would be possible unless there is some real action that's taken against the kind of fraud that we're seeing right now. I mean, exactly. if every dollar that is being fraudulently spent right now goes away, and even if you just leave Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security and find a way that it only really gets to American citizens, there would be so much money saved that perhaps tariffs would cover the bill. I mean, you know,
that's what I said a year ago.
Yeah, so it's the only scenario in which claims like that can be brought to fruition and actually made a reality. So
right, but the only way we can do that is if we see it, if it's exposed to us, so we can see how much has been stolen from us, from out of our very pockets, from our children's mouths. The only way we're going to change anything, the only way we're going to be able to push the entire population to the precipice and off into the Gulf is if we show them all of the fraud that's been happening, the fraud in the voting system, the fraud in their state and local governments, the fraud at the federal level. There's fraud. We are drowning in fraud. And the only way you can get people to see that they have to change how they think about how things are run is to show it to them. It's like when you got that puppy dog and he lays a great big pile of shit in the middle of your living room. And the only way to get him to stop pooping in your living room is to shove his nose in it. That's the only way. So people got to have their nose shoved in the shit. So, but
the clock is ticking, you know, the clock is ticking and we have to see something before.
We are seeing lots of things.
Well,
we are. No, I know.
I guess I'm living in black pill land because I'm not, but that doesn't mean there aren't things.
Well, the good.
Listen, between now and November 3rd, midterms is a light year, and we don't know what other information is going to come out, that we're suddenly looking at our people who are running for office going, there's no way in hell I'd vote for you. You're a dirty, rotten son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And you diddle kids.
Listen, I always, as long as the doors are open, doors of possibility are open, I don't close them. I feel that we have a litany of reasons to be white-pilled about life and the beauty of life, removed from all this stuff. I mean, people have made good memories. How many times have I said, you know, during the fall of Rome, it was somebody's good old days. You know, people were going to the pubs and all that stuff. And yeah, maybe things were bad in the empire and it was all crumbling, but it was somebody's good old days. And so I never attach my outlook on how good life can be based on this stuff. And that's why I think I afford myself a little bit more flexibility in saying, hey, it's a short window of time, but there is a great opportunity. There are great opportunities in this short window, and hopefully somebody with balls on the precipice of history knows that they can do something that would send a satanic death cult back 1,000 years if we can just do some good stuff in the next 2.5 years, especially the next 6 months or so. You know, 1,000 years we can set these freaks back.
This is the time to protect your mind and control your emotions.
That's what I feel like I'm doing.
Yeah, what I was doing on Thursday and Friday, I was protecting my mind and controlling my emotions as I'm watching the Comex take a shit. And all I could do was laugh at it because it didn't affect me. Because I don't buy and sell paper stupid shit. And nobody else should either.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But listen, there really is good stuff coming. But all of the shit that we're seeing come out, it's always been there.
Yeah.
All this black, nasty crap, these people who are doing crappy, nasty things to children, these people who are child and human trafficking, we've always had that. It's just that now the light's being shown on it so that we can see it clearly. And it's gross and it's disgusting. And it's going to get worse before it gets better, because sooner or later, people are going to look around and they're going to say, we have to stop this. We can't let these people do this. This is inhumane. This is ungodly.
I guess I thought we were just past that, because I feel like I went through this in 2018, learning about all this and thinking everybody was waking up. And now that Trump got in again, just thinking we were going to finally see something, then not seeing any significant arrests or anything. I understand stuff takes time, but
right.
I was starting to kind of just go the other way, where I'm like, okay, well, now I just have to make sure my own life is good, and I'm not going to make a difference anywhere else. So so screw it. I'm not even going to vote anymore. That's where I was. But
when you woke up in 2018, that was before COVID. So many people were not. I mean, you were probably one of the 0.5% that woke up.
I guess.
And maybe in your tight little circle, you were able to speak about such things, using rational, logical thoughts, and nobody pushed you away. But for many people in our country, COVID was a wake-up call. They didn't start waking up until 2021 and 2022.
Well, I live in a place where people are not waking up. Nobody.
And I will grant you, there are still a lot of people who are not awakened yet, but I don't personally know what trigger is going to wake up my neighbors. For some people, it was COVID. For some people, it was the jabs. For some people, it was the 5 people in their family that they saw take the COVID jabs that died.
Yeah.
Turbo cancer, So just because you yourself have woken up doesn't mean that everybody around you has. And we've got to give a little bit of time, because this flood of information that's coming at us is going to hit different people different ways.
Well, as you said before, Robin, there's so much. If we can just if all of the waste was actually addressed, then I think the numbers really bear out, and we're talking about I mean, you think about why is it that certain political organizations out there have completely deprioritized their old demographics and have it's shifted their gaze toward importing tens of millions of people who don't even belong to this country to try to be able to just to create some sort of a majority or a voting base, or even before you can even give them a driver's license to cast a local vote. The fact that there is a beating heart in one state or another, and the silly way that we do our census over here, I mean, that just creates at least apportionment and representation in Congress. So there is that. I don't even look at the mental illness and the inability to get through to people as such a major hindrance on an electoral standpoint, because if those people were actually moving the needle in elections, they wouldn't have needed and continue to be desperate to import tens of millions of just warm bodies that can, so understood.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
I appreciate your input on everything tonight. I can't wait to hear what people call in with now at this point. Real quick, short answer. I'll go to Sheri after I ask you this question. The short answer for this question, based on everything we're seeing right now, and based on everything we've seen for the last 6 years or however it is, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein is actually dead?
No.
Okay. You think he's still alive?
Was that short enough?
Short enough. Okay.
I think he was spirited away.
Okay.
And when he comes out to testify, people are going to lose their shit.
That's like, okay. There you go. Then maybe they'll bring out John as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John Kennedy Jr.
And
will
John
come.
McAfee.
Yeah. Oh.
They're all waiting in the wings.
Oh man, can you?
Won't that be funny?
Oh, I would
love
welcome. I would welcome John McAfee showing up right around now. That would be great. Okay, Robin McCutcheon, Dr. Professor Robin McCutcheon. What a wonderful appearance for the first time in 2026. I'm looking forward to more. Is there anything you'd like to plug? Anything you'd like to direct people's attention to before next time we see you?
Well, I think if people could go to my website, it's linksync.com. That's lync-sync.com. They'll see up at the top of the webpage all of the links to my video lectures. I've got my In the Classroom, which are principles of micro and macro. I've got all of my radio and podcast interviews that are Robin's radio interviews, and my freedom lectures, which are my Atlas Shrugged class. So that's linksync.com, lync-sync.com.
Thank you so much, Robin. Next time you come on, we actually have to talk about Atlas Shrugged a little bit more, especially since we haven't even touched on what New York City did to elect a communist mayor who actually might be Jeffrey Epstein's son, to be honest. From what I
heard that.
Did you see that?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Allegedly. It's funny.
Allegedly.
But some of the comments he made about, the rigidity of individualism for the warmth of collectivism.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he said something like that, I actually wrote it down, Robin McCutcheon, in my notes. I want to know, did that warmth of collectivism contribute to the 13 frozen homeless people in New York City? It's not. It's definitely not contributing to the 8.5 foot piles of trash that are piling up all over the place. That's for sure. So the snow's has not been removed from 2 weeks ago, and the trash, and there's just, I don't know. There's always dead homeless people.
Come on, Sheri, you got to laugh at this. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It couldn't happen to a nicer city to get a communist mayor that absolutely within 4 weeks totally fucks things up.
Yep.
What are you gonna do?
Remember that dog pile of poop in the middle of the living room?
Yep.
Well, listen, communists are the type you smush a communist face in the shit, they actually start liking it, Robin. So that it doesn't work like that with them. Anyway, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank Tim for me as well. It's great to hear from you again, and Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Very nice to meet
you,
Sheri. Have a wonderful evening, you and Frank.
You too.
Thanks, Frank.
Take care. Be well. There goes Dr. Robin McCutcheon.
I love that sunny attitude.
Don't we need more of it?
Oh my gosh, I was going to just bring her day down with the talk of Millet and how things worked out for him and Argentina. Have you heard anything about that?
What, in Argentina?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard such good things.
About
who he is. His
Well,
name isn't last name isn't Millet, it's Milikowski.
Oh, well, that I've heard from the beginning.
Okay.
That I heard from the beginning. And the fact that
Israeli soldiers?
Well, it was also the currency stuff. When he was talking about, I forgot what the hell he said he wanted to adopt, but it was more so like the American dollar and fiat. And when I heard what he wanted to do with the money out there in Argentina, I said, okay, well that's weird. And a lot of when everybody was just falling in love with him, what he's the he brought out the chainsaw and all that shit, and then he was having his moment in the sun. I had quite a few friends of mine, who were just like, no, I don't like I don't like this guy's connections, and the Israeli aspect popped up too.
Apparently, there's a big thing with fires now, and it's the soldiers that are lighting them. I don't know. I heard a couple of things, but I got to look into it a little more before I.
Well, for everybody else out there, we've got a nice crowd of people. And for the next 45 minutes, it's all you. We have things to pick through over here. So firstly, please like, share, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed to wherever you're watching, hit subscribe and notifications on, all of them on. These are the things that we have to do to overcome all of the anti-spam, whatever they're doing to change up the platforms. That's number one. Number two, now the lines are open. Okay, you can call in 914-200-0269 and give us your 2 cents on things. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein is alive? That's number one. Okay, I saw this popping up right here. Now I remember when this came up, the first thing, and it's going around again now. A lot of things are going around. Okay, everything that you found out doesn't matter. It's going to be rehashed over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
This one right here, let me get it up on the screen. This one right here is interesting because I remember this post on 4chan, and I think it came out that the person who had put this out there, they found them and they actually weren't even working that day. So it's like, it's whatever. It said, not saying anything. This is from August of 2019. Not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But the last night after 4:15 count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse said they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number, and the guy in the green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. Now, I seem to remember that this was, a provocative post, but it didn't go anywhere. But then somebody posted this 8 hours ago on Reddit, and we'll take your calls in just a second. Epstein's body was switched with boxes and sheets while being taken to the hospital to thwart the media. And this comes right out of the files that were just released. It was on page 106. I went to go check it out. And here it is.
Really?
Yeah, right there. So-and-so remained with COs, and until personnel from the Office of Chief Medical Examiner arrived to transport Epstein to their facility. Due to the large news media presence outside the MCC, a male OCME official called and said that he would be arriving at the loading dock with a black vehicle in order to thwart the media and block the redacted, and used boxes and sheets to create what appeared to be a human body, which was put into the white OCME vehicle with the press, which the press followed, according to the black, allowing the black vehicle to depart unnoticed with Epstein's body in it. So it's not like they're saying, they're not saying he was alive and we got him out of here. They're saying that there was a little bit of a decoy body.
The switcheroo, the old switcheroo.
Yeah, just to be able to throw the scent of the press off. But it's just when people saw this and they're like, body switch and decoys, what the hell else? Let's see. Let's take a call. David, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Frank. Hey, you were asking about, optimistic visions of what might be to come.
Yeah.
And wonder if, I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything, because I know people probably send you things all the time. But do you recall receiving some books? One of them was called That Choice to Know Will Be Yours, maybe a couple years ago, 2 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
That Choice.
Don't worry about it.
No,
it was, and then I sent another one, maybe called Tyranny in the Valley. Anyhow, that was some self-published books I did on Amazon.
That second one, I definitely remember. That second one, I definitely remember. It would have to be. It would have to be home at my my home library over there in my office. That's where I would keep that kind of a book. The second one I remember more than the first, though. But go ahead.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Well, anyhow, in those books, I was really into the number 17 operation and really digging into stuff, before that, and seeing a pattern of progression that wasn't being, certainly not covered in the mainstream media and not in popular dialogue, but you could see the thread, and that's what I try to kind of communicate in those books is just, I did documented headlines of stories that wasn't just my opinion, but like documented events that were showing the through line. And, one of the things I think is really cool is back in the 90s, I think it was 98, when Trump was on the cover of George magazine, and the subheading was the secret behind Trump's political fling. And so I think about like the optimism of the possibility that all the way back, even into the 90s, this has been a concerted, dedicated effort to provide real freedom to humanity and release us from the bondage, especially of the banks. And, so I think if anyone wants to do a internet search for Donald Trump on the cover of George magazine, it might show there's a secret behind Trump's political fling.
Okay. All right. So there's more reason to be hopeful from David. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing there too. This is why I say I'm with these releases, I am taking a lot of things with a grain of salt. Very provocative stuff, crazy stuff. I heard a couple of crazy things. Well, things that, I mean, it all basically validates what we already believe. There's no way in hell that I know what we've covered over the years, and there is no way, shape, and form that I change my view on what kind of forces are ruling the world and what blackmail means, how blackmail is essentially the mortar that keeps this entire world order together, and gun running and everything else. And then, of course, there is a deeply dark, spiritual, sacrificial element to it all as well. So that doesn't change. But again, the readily available dialogue between people who may just not have a care in the world because they believe they're way more insulated than ever, that anybody would ever see these emails between one another where they're saying, "Hey, I love the torture video you sent me." Yeah. Like I see that and I go, "Yes, that's very provocative." But at the same time, is it really real? And it could be.
I don't know. I some of the stuff I just spent a little while with it, and I believe some of the conversations, but then you've got people talking about, like, the Trump thing, for instance. There's one where they're talking about, I think it's women backstage at a beauty pageant or something. And it's gross. And it involves Trump, like, having to, like, check these women, touching them inappropriately and stuff. But it's like a story somebody's telling. And I feel like that, it was different than a lot of the other emails, which is just people reporting stuff back to Epstein, which is probably what this whole blackmail thing is all about. He's got all these media people in modeling, but then this anomaly where somebody's just all of a sudden telling a disgusting story about Trump. I don't know. It didn't match. It didn't hit me as it didn't ring true.
There's a few things in there about that, and that's what I'm talking about. You have to assume that it's a tainted pool.
Yeah,
it's a poisoned well. Not to say that it's not real, that the things aren't real in there, but that when you can see some things that are not necessarily on the up and up, or things that that have already washed through the media, like quite a few of those things about Trump with some of those allegations, people like Jake Tapper and other people who obviously focused in on, that was the only thing they cared about. What does it say about Trump? And those people, you already know that they're like disabled. They have the tunnel vision on, and whatever the hell they're going to give you, that there's a political reason why they're looking for it, and they conveniently leave out the follow up from law enforcement about how people making allegations didn't leave contact information, or there's unverified information here, or that there was actually complete retractions of statements and all the other stuff. Things were not credible. And that stuff is left out because it's a smear, and it's safe right now. Like what Robin said is really true. The legislative branch, by and large, has been completely left out of this so far. You would think that it's just crazy, but it is making a lot of people go back and review the Pizzagate stuff.
Yeah, that's great,
and that's been fantastic because. Everything you need to know about how the world exists prior to this release is there, especially when what came to be known as Pizzagate. I mean, the Alephantis stuff is starting to flow around again now too. That ridiculous story about the you have James Alephantis, who's gay lovers with David Brock of Media Matters,
Right? Yeah.
and then people start bringing unwanted attention to Comet Ping Pong, lying about whether or not there's a basement and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we had this ridiculous shooting. You remember
shoots
that?
the computer. Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but I remember, and I saw the news story out there again. It wasn't just about how like this guy walked into Comet Ping Pong with a gun and like went behind the counter or something and shut. The computer was in a closet that was locked with a keypad. So a keypad would have to the code would have to get punched in just so this guy who is insane enough to come into the place with a firearm fires one solitary bullet right through the hard drive,
ruining all the evidence.
I mean, it sounds exactly like the fictitious story about the Somalians, everybody taking the Somalians' documents out there at the daycare center.
Yeah,
but it's just a little bit more of a I don't know, just one single bullet, and now of course that guy's dead. He was killed by cop.
Yeah,
like a year or so later.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but how funny is the Elon Musk stuff? That he wants to go to the island so bad.
Yeah.
And they don't want him to go.
I know.
And Bill Gates. I hope Bill Gates doesn't survive this.
And Stephen Hawking. Oh, you listen, tomorrow night with Jay in here, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be talking a lot about Bill Gates.
Okay.
I mean, you saw the Russian hooker thing?
I heard about that, but it was the wanting to drug his wife with antibiotics.
See, that's the whole thing there too. This is Bill Gates. Mm-hmm. He's going to Jeffrey Epstein for antibiotics?
Right. That's weird.
This is what I'm talking about. Why does Bill Gates have to go to leave a paper trail on email and everything else to contact Jeffrey Epstein for antibiotics?
But though maybe he's so out of touch that he doesn't know where maybe at the time his wife was taking care of everything for him. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
maybe it's the only person he trusted.
I don't know.
Maybe he just felt like he trusted him.
Could
be. But the way that email exchange between the two ended. Hold on, I think I might have it here. I was going to talk about that tomorrow. Where the hell is it? Do I have it here? I think I have it set aside for tomorrow.
All right. Well, we'll listen tomorrow.
I got so much stuff. I mean, who doesn't? And I just picked through a little bit of it. But what's the point of picking through anything when everybody else is, tweeting something new out every 5 seconds? So you just keep your eyes open and you're just cherry picking whatever the hell you want. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the Nicki Minaj stuff last night?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. Let's take a call from Dora. Are you there, Dora?
I am, Frank. Thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
Hi, Sheri.
Hello.
Okay, I just want to let you know what's going on here in Michigan. I wanted to catch you up to date here.
Okay.
So, Cincinnati, Ohio, they had a big major sex trafficking, child trafficking bust. And Detroit, same thing. Oakland and Macomb County, heavily Trump. Oakland and Macomb County, Trump voted. It's all in the news. The sex trafficking, I was at a euchre party, and these government officials that are here in municipalities are all resigning. Oh. And I'm sitting with a table full of municipal workers, and they're talking, oh, did you hear so-and-so resign? Did you hear this? Did you hear that? So, when they say resignations are happening, they're happening. Another thing I wanted to tell you was Social Security Administration. So I am my uncle's guardian and conservator, and they cut his money back, right? And they sent me a letter and said something along the lines was, because my cousin also got Social Security under my grandfather, that they were reducing my uncle's money. So when I called to question them, I said, what's going on here? I mean, he gets $1,100 a month and you're going to take more money from him? And they said, well, this was from an audit. I said, an audit? And they said, yeah, back in 1967. I said, well, if you're taking money from my cousin, He wasn't born until 1969. So why are you taking money from my uncle? And the phone went dead. The phone went dead. She couldn't even answer. The phone went dead.
Damn.
And two people I know that are truly disabled, right, that have recently went in front of the Social Security Disability Board people have been denied, even when in the court they said they didn't have a job that those people could fulfill, which was quite interesting. And the last thing I want to share with you is I'm an advocate in the human service field. So when somebody needs to go to court for foster care or any of these courts, I go in and I step in and I ask to speak to the judge, and I question what they're doing, and they know everything that's in that person's record, but they twist it if somebody isn't there representing and standing up for people. So and sadly, what Robin was saying is, my family members have got the turbo cancer, one with prostate, one with throat, and they all signed up for that vax. But on the bright side, there is stuff happening in our community on the ground if we're paying attention. I don't tune into the regular television. I pay attention to what's going on around me. And I just want to say, I love your channel. I love your guests. Thank you for having me, where I can call in and share with what's happening here in Michigan.
How did you get involved in being an advocate? You're just doing it for people around you, or you do it for people you don't know?
So my cousin lost his children to the foster care system. I was a child of the foster care system until my grandparents got us out. And so what happened was they had mental health services. They were denying, according to my adoption assistance contract, they were denying the Medicaid provider manual services to help these young children. And I took them all the way to Lansing and fought them. But the sad thing is they beat me down for 5 years while my kids were in their foster care homes that judges own, the wife manages, the sister's the nurse, the brother's the custodian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when you follow the money, you will be so disgusted at what takes place. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy because I'm seeing things when I walk into a courtroom. I'm able to address the judge. He listens to me. He reviews the record. My cousin had 1 year and 4 months left to do, and he walked out of that courtroom. He went back to the county jail and walked out. They dismissed all of the charges. So the things that are happening, I don't know what's going on in the judicial law sector, but I know something's going on with Social Security. I know there's policing that's taking place with the sex trafficking. I mean, this one ring, I think in Cincinnati, was like a 10-year-old child, a boy child that these men were going to meet. I mean, so there is some serious stuff taking place right in our own backyards. And we need to start advocating and looking out for the vulnerable around us, because this is going to get a lot worse.
Well, I love this call, Dora, and I know a lot of people out there are probably really loving this too. And thank you so much. And when the lines open up, and I love opening them up, I'm always hoping that people like you are just gonna rush me with calls. So make sure you do it more in the future. I love getting updates from people all over the country, and yeah, I don't consider this a local show. So I like hearing about what's going on, local news and places that are hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. It fascinates me, and I appreciate your insight. So thank you.
Have a great day, you guys.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Take care. Let's also be honest here. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. Maxwell was arrested.
But
George Nader was arrested. There's the only reason why they're on on a lot of people's radars right now, and whatever the hell is going on, you say how many of these people in Ohio are connected to Epstein? How many? So I understand there. I understand people want a firework finale show, and I understand that. And mostly because I think the average person feels like they have been completely disconnected from being able to go out there and take things into their own hands, which I guess we've always been disconnected from that. That's vigilantism. But
I do like what this woman's doing. She's taking it into her own hands in a way that everybody can. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm working right now to be my parents' advocate, just and legally doing all that stuff. But once that's over, I would like to be able to do that because I know this stuff is going on a couple of towns over from me, where you hear that the judge is assigning conservatorships to people that, people are just making money off of the elderly. Just these people didn't have somebody to stand up for them. And that's something that everybody could do.
Yeah, well, expand that out. Like what you're talking about is people, everyday people, taking on local responsibilities again.
Yeah.
And no matter what the hell it is. I mean, the one I would say that there's nothing scarier. There's probably been no time scarier, at least not in the last 75 years, to get old, retire, and just become old and sick in this country than we have right now.
Yeah.
There's so fewer families that take care of each other. It seems that after a while, a person can live an entire life being independent and self-sufficient, and then they have to live the last 12 years of life in some kind of a retirement home where, they get abused by somebody or whatever the hell it is. And it shouldn't be that way.
No.
So I like how people, even in that respect, they're taking things into their own hands. People, when we talk to Jay, we always talk about taking and recreating what a good healthcare setup would be for individual people. Let's not ever forget the election in 2024. Regardless of whether you like Donald Trump as a candidate or anybody else there, the reason why he won is because many people, hundreds of thousands of people who 3 election cycles prior, were just home on election night. They went out and maybe they voted, but if they did vote, that's all they did. Now they were forming street teams of not only poll watchers, but also legal representation to make sure that you can bring anybody to court who is, the finagling with one thing or another illegally at a voting site. Making sure that drop boxes and all that other stuff are better regulated or eliminated altogether. I mean, it was because of organized citizenry that 2024 was able to get cleaned up enough to not only deliver a victory, but even a popular vote victory.
Yeah.
And like I said before, if 2020 was legitimate, then 2024 is not possible. So that really is what it all comes down to. If you see more and more people picking up the slack, I don't know. There's just so much there.
We're still having a hard time though getting good people to run.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I think that you're going to get a lot more people coming out of Gen Z, though. I think that's where it's going to be, though. I think that the people who are willing to go, people who are really going to be going the extra mile and not wanting to be associated with any of the bought and paid for old aspects of Washington, D.C. I think that generation is going to be a lot more primed for not giving a fuck, which I hope. I really do.
Thomas Massey is still going strong, but look at how everybody looks at him now. Just a guy that's standing for his principles.
I know he's
taking a beating.
He's taking a big beating,
and I feel bad for him. Because I think most Trump voters feel more like Thomas Massey than they have Trump's values. They don't want war. They just want to keep things good for us here in America. I mean, make America great again. Come on.
I understand what you're saying, and I saw all that. I see that stuff going on, and it's like, damn. It's
such a shame, and it's such a shame that Trump had to say you're still looking at the Epstein files. There's just a couple of things that really kind of got me, it really stuck me the wrong way.
Well, that's the other thing here too, because I also wonder what's going on with all of this. Like, for example, I was looking at even I have a couple of things here, including DOJ, Bondi, Patel, all that stuff. But let's just talk about this for a second. Like Ukraine. Mm-hmm. You're talking about war. Ukraine. I saw this one thing here. It's Jeffrey Epstein talking to, what's her name? Rothschild. Mm. The Rothschild woman. Or she's saying to him, saying, "Hi, Jeff, very long day sitting on bank board. And everything's okay, not satisfactory to me. I'm putting the blah, 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 blah." And Jeffrey Epstein says, "Ukraine upheaval should provide many opportunities." Many. This is in March of 2014. Mm. This is when the coup is being run there. Yeah. Now, I'm saying to myself, because this is all just being sprinkled out there, does a sane person need to read this to understand that the war in Ukraine is not about democracy or big nation versus little nation? Because that's what the media gave us with Russia.
It's this war of aggression, of course.
Yeah, Russia wanted little tiny Ukraine because Goliath wants to beat up David. Right. Blah blah blah. Ignore all the documentation of the 2014 coup. Yeah. Ignore Victoria Nuland handpicking the puppet government and having that just like on video.
Right.
And then of course the business opportunities that Epstein is talking about supposedly in this email. I mean, those business opportunities were established there since then. We already know about that. We know about the biolabs, the Burisma-like accommodations made for children of uniparty politicians over here. I mean, it's all there. It's always been there. So I don't think anybody that's sifting through these drops looking for shit to throw at, say, Donald Trump and that's all they care about are ever going to really stop and think and smell the roses and realize that they were lied to about something like Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because then that would lead to the lies about the first impeachment. And of course, there's Bill Barr. He's kind of like moderating the whole thing, which was followed by the pandemic that may have originated in some form in one of those labs in Ukraine. And these assholes, what we're seeing in the media and elsewhere, they really don't care. I mean, especially at CNN, on the CNN/Reddit type of people, they never cared about any of this stuff. In fact, a year ago, if you had any interest in the Epstein rabbit hole, you were a victim of conspiracy theory mania. But then Trump resisted it, and now it's fashionable. And, a lot of people who like Trump don't like the way that he resisted it. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to kind of play jujitsu with people, to know that the average liberal mind out there is going to just want the opposite of whatever he wants. Therefore, I'm going to use that to my advantage. It's another thing to say if you voted, if you're no longer my supporter, if you're still asking about this, stuff like that. I head scratcher. Now, I mean, I don't know. There's just so much stuff around about this stuff that I don't get. It's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to watch how you can think about the average liberal, their position on the sanctity of life, children, sexuality. I mean, these people clapped for a 10-year-old junkie dressed in drag, strutting down the catwalk on daytime television. That they clap for that. They castrate their sons to virtue signal. So nothing about their hand wringing over this stuff is authentic to me. That's for one. There's a lot of things coming. There's a lot of things happening at once for me, aside from not knowing just how much of this might just be planted bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't stop looking at the fracture on the right. I haven't even been paying attention to the other side except to say that they're out of their minds about ICE. I feel like that's the only thing they're looking at right now. ICE and Trump bad. But well, our side is a mess.
A big mess.
Not going to recover from this. Going this way.
No, I agree with you. I don't know how the hell that happens.
No,
I don't know. It's very, very messy. What's been going on since September?
And I just want to hear one person justify how you can go from free speech to, it's okay to tell people they can't talk about Israel. I just want to hear one person say why.
Well, I mean,
or to admit they've been paid.
It's not going. It's not going to get much easier now. Did you see all of the? There's emails in here of Jeffrey Epstein casually explaining how Jews create fortunes through financial speculation and market crashes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's more. I mean, did you see the Goyam emails?
Yes, I did. I saw that.
I mean, this is not from Candace Owens here.
I know, but it's the same. Same storyline.
This is from the horse's mouth.
Right.
I just laughing. I really have been. It's crazy. And then you look at for example, people freaking out on those newfangled supporters of, we want to know what the Epstein files show us, because they think it's always going to lead to something about Trump. And the more that these people speak about it, it's more apparent that they have a Netflix level understanding of Jeffrey Epstein. And it's always about the plight of little girls at the hands of powerful, horny men. That's the baseline of all it is. Little girls being abused by powerful, horny men. That's it. This is what they did to limit the damage,
right,
that Hollywood took after Weinstein was arrested in 2017. That's when they created Me Too. It was like this pseudo-feminist movement that they created so that they had an issue that they could own through the guise of feminism, even though women are essential players in all of this shit. I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell was Cleopatra of the Caribbean. Yeah. And then you have Nexium, which was almost entirely run by women like Allison Mack. That was funded by the Bronfmans and the Salzmans, and the women were mainly the ones who were torturing and branding other women. Yeah. Plus, they had the preschools. The whole thing is nuts. It's nuts. So that's part of the insanity of this past weekend. It's not just that you're giving you're drinking from the fire hose of the actual drops themselves, but you have to contend with people coming from so many levels of misconception or different levels of understanding. Yeah. Then there's the OGs who have been threading and researching Pizzagate since the beginning, right, who are now competing with all of the next generation TikTokers who are just reusing their material.
It's business.
Oh, it's crazy weekend.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's so much shit in there, man.
Well, this is kind of unrelated to Epstein, but I went down the weirdest rabbit hole last week in some research I was doing, and I found that, I remember I told you I wanted to talk about the PBD podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's one of those where having a hard time figuring out exactly where he is, because he's got weird dynamic on his team. He's got the one MAGA guy, he's got the one super pro-Israel guy. But unrelated to that, prior to doing his podcast, he ran an insurance company. He calls it an insurance company, but it wasn't really
Patrick Bet David?
Yeah, it wasn't really an insurance company, though. It was a straight-up pyramid scheme. Like, on a huge level. Like, if you got to look him up and look up people that attended his events, because it's like Amway. And then it starts to make sense a little bit, the people around him and their personalities, because that fits into the whole pyramid marketing scheme thing. And I guess ultimately it was selling insurance. And allegedly, all of this alleged, of course. But and I think he may have sold the company, but he still does events. But people are passionate about this online, because I was just trying to get a little more information about him personally, and I just ran into this whole thing. You gotta look it up. Give it a couple of minutes.
Patrick Bet David?
Patrick Bet David, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
possibly multi-level marketing pyramid stuff.
Pampered Chef?
Well, not in that way. Like Amway. Think Amway, like a big, get people to invest in this starter package, and then you got your down line and your up line. And he never says any of that. I listened to his podcast for years with nary a mention of it, just that it was the insurance business.
Oh, I never heard it either.
That's a dirty business when you're making money like that, because there's a couple of people. Sorry about that.
Seems like everybody's making money. Seems like everybody's making money.
Just the tippy top.
Jeez. I mean, you think about the sums of money we were talking about tonight.
Right. Well,
we're talking about trillions of dollars.
And I can't get just a tiny bit.
I know you can't dip your straw into the river.
I don't even want a lot of money. I just want a little bit.
I just want to dip a milkshake straw into this river of money that is supposedly flowing all around us. And the crazy thing is, it's our money.
Yeah.
You know, even if it wasn't taken directly from our income, it was borrowed in our name.
Right.
Because we're the collateral for the, you know, who's going to pay it all back. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's nuts. Well, I hadn't heard anything about that. I'll look into it.
Pay attention. I don't know. And people aren't really talking about that. Just me, but I thought that was super interesting.
Well, that is something. Let's see. Let's take a couple more calls. 914-200-0269. Also, go and vote in the chat room. Oh, just to let you know, guys, I'm going to do something a little crazy. Well, not crazy. I'm going to put out. I have something here that was given to me a couple of years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and I just had nothing that I was able to do with it. It's a Blackview mini PC. This thing is it's a computer. Huh. It's a tiny computer. Okay, it's a 12th generation. It is absolutely brand new. I see that they go for, you know, a few $100s or something like that. This is probably, you know, old. I brought maybe just like Windows 10. I don't know, but I don't know. I feel bad that this is collecting dust, and I want to put this up onto the block this week. So starting tonight and tomorrow, we're going to have what's her name, Molly from Keto Brainz calling in to rattle off the 4 winners. But I'm going to give a Flip City magazine, their parody special, this brand new Blackview mini PC, maybe Robin McCutcheon will win it because she needs a new computer. It's a very small computer. You can put it in your back pocket and essentially take it anywhere as long as you have a screen or something like that. I'm going to put that in there, and we're also going to just build upon this throughout the week. So if you start with your super chats tonight, whatever super chats and gold pills were sent tonight, that already gets you into the running, and I'll just keep building on it for the rest of the week. So I'm giving away a computer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, completely unused.
Very cool.
There's nothing on it. If you find something on it, I didn't put it there. Okay, so
someone's trying to plant something.
I know.
You think possession.
Think about it. Let's take a call from Mark Swan.
Mark
Swan was just trying to call in, and he hung up. I can't believe it. 914-200-0269. I think he was scared. Hello, Anthony.
How's it going, Frank?
It's good to hear from you, Doc Keck.
I'm using a voice assistant to convert your voice to text and respond to you.
What?
If you want to continue, please stay on the call.
Is that your car talking?
Doc?
I don't know.
You remember back in the day? I don't know. We have two weird calls all of a sudden. You remember back in the? Hold on. Here's Mark Swan. Mark Swan?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, it's Mark Swan. You even sound thinner.
Hold on. Let me meet you. All right. We're good.
Mark, how are you, man? This is the first time you've called in years.
I'm drunk as fuck.
So that's why you're calling in.
Yes. Well, and because cousin Sheri is really hot.
What?
Mark Swan is hitting on you.
Thank you.
So what's going on, Frank?
Oh, listen, Mark. I'm doing all right. It's been how many years now? It's at least 10 years you've been hanging out with us right now.
You say that, but it's only been like a couple months since I got drunk and called in.
No, it's not.
Yes, it has.
Months? You haven't called in at least a couple years.
Why weren't you at the Jamboree?
Don't be a cocksucker.
Yeah, no. That's a great question there, Mark. Why weren't you at the Jamboree?
Because I wasn't invited early enough.
What?
What?
You're promoting it for 6 months.
We would have made space for you.
Okay, well, so
Lauren just texted me. She said, "Mark Swan, watch out! I'm listening."
Oh, sorry, future wife Lauren.
See this? So he's coming for my whole family.
All right,
he's coming for my cousin and my wife.
I am. Well, I mean, you can keep. No, never mind.
Okay, Mark, how much have you drunk? So Mark. Okay, so then just before this goes off the rails, do you think that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive?
Hold on. I am not Cousin Willie. Or Fix-It Willie, sorry. This will not go off the rails. Epstein was always alive. What the fuck?
Always?
He's alive.
Always. Okay.
Yeah,
You know he didn't die. Come on, that's bullshit. You know he's hanging out with Elvis and shit.
Where do you think he is? You think he's in Argentina with the rest of the Nazis?
Oh, with Hitler? Fuck yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to leave us with, sir?
Lauren, I love you. Cousin Sheri, you're next in line.
All right.
Okay.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, have another drink for me, Mark. Go easy on that kidney out there, please. Mark is a kidney donor.
It was nice hearing your voice.
He's a kidney recipient, and you got to go easy.
Nice hearing yours too.
Go easy with that whiskey, sir. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure, absolutely.
Okay. And all the best to you and the family and thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, all right. Have a good one, friend.
Bye.
See you later. Let's take a call. 817, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Frank, this is Cloud9.
Hey, Cloud9, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, parting thoughts would be, this is why we have a system of federalism where the state should be able to make decisions for themselves. And this past week, we've seen a whole bunch of state corruption, more so municipality, city corruption at rampant. So, if anything, this is more of a call for people to understand that your local elections are going to matter significantly a lot more, especially when you've got midterms just around the corner. A lot of people are talking about the federal level. Well, look at your own backyard. Look at what's going on in each counties, and if you happen to live in Louisiana, your own parish. And everything that comes down the pike has to be viewed through that lens. And so people who want to talk about changing their outcome, changing the election cycle at the federal level, oftentimes they fail at a couple of things. They fail to, number one, get out and vote for local elections. And I'm not going to be a black pillar and say that it's all pointless, it's all stupid, and that you should go out and move to a cabin in the woods. I think, for those people who do that, I mean, that's fine if you can afford it. But for those of us who still have to go to work and do 9 to 5s and still, live locally where, maybe you've got large families, or maybe it's because, just situations just happen to arise, life happens, you still have to be engaged in the process, whether you like it or not. So, if you want to change the world, you have to change yourself first is kind of my motto. And just, some thoughts of, it's okay to understand that, yes, there's going to be corruption and there's going to be some level of interference, but that shouldn't dissuade you from still engaging in the political process, or really just like the corporate world. Corporate world and government are going to be just as equally corrupt. And it's your decision on whether or not you get to understand how the game is played, how the chess pieces are moved, or if you're just going to be naive about it. And I'm neither. I'm neither naive nor am I partaking in the corruption, but it's just an understanding of like how the chess pieces are moved, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. And that's why there's no reason why anybody should ever retreat and give up. I think that it's totally.
Although cabin in the woods, not such a bad idea.
Cabin in the woods is fine. That's great. Especially if it's your, I would love to have a cabin in the Adirondacks to be able to go to.
Just a cabin.
Just a cabin?
No house.
No house at all.
No.
Well, that's fine. One way or another, as long as you don't. As long as you're not building recalibrating
what's out in the cabin and then mailing them.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, absolutely. You don't go and you attack local computer store owners. That's where Ted Kaczynski really went off the road. I think that he really saw the world in a very uniquely prescient way. But made a
little mistake there.
Yeah, bombing a Radio Shack is not going to get your point across.
Right.
But I would say that
he could have published his manifesto. There's a
I know. Just wherever you can go collate some copies, whatever. But reprioritizing is totally fine. But as Cloud9 is talking about, to withdraw and give up is not.
I'm so close.
No. See, that's the whole thing here. That's what I think. What really happens to people after big elections is they forget. Yeah, on election night, whether it's a presidential or a midterm election, you have this collective heave. All these people get together. You feel like you're pushing a gigantic stone ball over the goal line or something like that. And if your guy wins or whatever, it was that was a major undertaking. Then you bask in the glory. Then it's if they win, you're sitting there on inauguration day. You're feeling like you're getting inaugurated too. But that is a very deceptive kind of thing, which is why so many people take their foot off the gas afterwards, thinking that, okay, the individual efforts that put this person in office, or the person that is now representing me locally, or my town council, the education board, all that stuff, all those individual efforts don't stop the day after the election. It manifests in the way that Dora from Michigan takes place, and that's just what happens.
But we're also getting shit on in another way though. Like I feel like we stuck by and we're politically active and doing everything we can to get people to vote, to get the word out. Do the things that just a regular normal citizen does. But now it's like I just feel like if you're on the side of like America first, you're getting told that you're a black pillar and you're bad, and by the James Lindsays of the world and the I'm trying to think of all the Ben Shapiros. They're doing that to half of Trump's supporters.
Well, with that, I said great. I actually love that.
But I don't. But I can only take so much of that before I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to turn the TV off. I don't care. I could just not care about anything like that. Live in my own little bubble.
But that's what's so great about it is that I don't give a shit wherever Ben Shapiro shows up now. I love that there are so fewer people who gave a shit about his opinion in 2014 than there are right now. Like when he was this snap.
But it seems like the administration is holding that opinion, the opinion that they're not going to talk about certain things.
4 years is very, very quick. Very quick. And I think that where we're trending, as far as, like I said, with Gen Z, and then, of course, Alpha coming up after them, I really don't think we're going to go backwards. I think that there's a lot of older generations that are just, they're making their exit right now, and they are hopelessly one way. Even if they identify as a Republican, hopelessly blind to so many things around the world and how they affect us over here. I think all that is washing through, and the kind of iron grip if they thought that Ben Shapiro was going to be like a prominent voice that takes new generations of Americans into like the 22nd century, it's not going to happen. It's already laughable. Daily Wire's fucking laughable.
Yeah.
And but there's other things there too that you can't look away from.
There's so much pro-war stuff, though.
It could be,
right.
And you know what? Going back to Epstein and Pam Bondi.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I think about this here too. Like for example, it's crazy to hear this stuff that I'm seeing here. Well, for example, what was this guy? I saw him, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Did you see this?
No.
He admitted to the DOJ. It's 9:02. Shit. We're supposed to be in the after hours right now. He admitted to the DOJ that they excluded images showing physical abuse, child abuse, like everything that just came out. They excluded things that showed physical abuse, injury, or death.
That's
okay?
So messed up.
Okay, so now listen. They had graphic evidence of people who had been tortured and killed.
Yeah.
In this tranche of stuff here. So when I listen to that, and people are right to ask, why child abuse materials, documentation of torture and subsequent death has led to no public arrests.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you can't say that from the people I listed before, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, was it what were they just like a serial killing duo. They were the only ones doing this stuff. So you think about that. Why were there no earth-shattering criminal charges and years-old evidence of murders being committed should have, been expedited some way if there was active investigations, you would hope. Now, let's just assume there's more happen. I want to assume the best, that there's more happening that we are privy to, that there are active investigations and all this airtight evidence of murder and stuff like that it's being used somewhere. Again, it comes back to Pam Bondi for me at DOJ. Out of all the ways you could have handled this, out of all the ways that this issue could have been brought to the public, what the hell? I don't understand that. I mean, you just say that there's a lot of unverified salacious material, whatever the hell, everything that they were sitting on top of, to say that there was nothing. Yeah. To say that there was no network of confidants, there was no blackmail, there was no nothing. And sure, at least some of the stuff that we're reading right now is unsubstantiated, but this is inexcusable. I mean, they said phase 1 was recycled junk. Phase 2 was we're waiting for more.
Yeah, it's in a truck. It's on my desk.
Phase 3 was.
But what are you talking about?
There is no phase 3. Stop asking about it. Meanwhile, snuff films. And I don't know. I mean, they could have said that there's a lot of unverified stuff, or there's horrible things that we're going through. It's bad. It's really bad.
It implicates other countries. We can't get involved. It's something.
I know.
Something that makes sense.
But to kind of shame people is very strange.
That's what I'm sick of.
So I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. And it's part of the reason why I was not very enthusiastic about a Pam Bondi's name from the get-go.
I didn't know who she was, so.
Yeah. Well, we were all excited about Matt Gaetz for a second.
Great.
We were excited about that for a quick second there. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Tomorrow night, it's Tuesday. I'm going to have Jay Gulanello in the studio. We're going to go deeper in on Bill Gates and everything else, and we're going to take your calls.
And his STDs.
Oh, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot tomorrow night. So remember, wherever you're watching, make sure you're subscribed and you have the notifications on. But even better yet, put the reminder in your phone. 7 o'clock, quite frankly, you can watch it on like 7 different sites at 7 o'clock p.m., and we will be live tomorrow night right here on quitefrankly.tv, on YouTube and Rumble and DLive and X, and I'm sure the Twitch, maybe there's a few others I forgot about. But thank you so much for Sheri for coming here. It's great to have you back.
Great to be had back.
Yeah, and we're not done. We're not done. We're going to be going until the bottom of the hour. I'm putting the Flipside link in the chat rooms. You can join us. Oh, actually, hold on. And before we leave, I will go through these super chats real quick. And then I'll read all of the pilled gold pills on the flip side. Jeannie Yankee fan over on Twitch, thank you so much. Says, thank you, Frank and Sheri and Dr. Robin. Excellent show. Pink Sales says, it's Nat. It's Nat from the Jamboree. Nate from the Jamboree. What an awesome show tonight, per usual. It's great to have you out there. Really is. Good to see you.
Nate.
How you doing? Stowstube says, excellent guest tonight. Great way to start off the week. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Stowstube. Another great friend of the show. Mark Swan says, this is bullshit. I tried to call in and hit on cousin Sheri, but you didn't answer. Unfortunately, we ended up answering, Mark. Unfortunately, that call finally went through. Oh, see, she put on the voice. Let's see here. Eli P says, what an uplifting show tonight. And then Steve Ellis says, I love based chicks night, Frank. Thank you. Well, I'm glad to bring the based chicks on. One day we'll have a whole room full. We had 3 more seats left for based chicks.
Yeah. Bring Chrissy Mayer back in here. She's based.
I told her, I think I'm going to try to, I floated the February 24th to her. I want to have her in here at least once a month.
Yeah, she's funny.
Trying to get, I even told Lauren, you know what I told Lauren? I said, what would you think about me writing an episode just for you? And you come into the studio and you have to cover all the news I give you, with all the notes I give you, so you're essentially just doing my show. I'm giving you everything.
That'd be great. April 1st.
I wonder if she would be able to pull it off. I wonder if she would actually read some of the things I give her to say.
I think so. She's a good sport.
You think that she would go through with it?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
She wouldn't redact anything.
Oh, well,
I think
maybe some of the, the F-bombs and stuff. I don't know. She's a lady.
I'm going to have to do something like that one day. Jay Britt says, I love when Dr. Robin gets on a roll. What if Dr. Robin was pulling the strings? Hey, cousin Sheri. Oh, well, there's an idea. What if Dr. Robin is behind the whole thing?
The whole thing.
And then Shauna Vision just resubscribed on Twitch for 5 months. Wow, Sean, thank you. Really, thank you so much. And in beginning, the whole thing is Regular Guy on YouTube says, support your local insurgent podcaster. Yes, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Jay Semo says, great show tonight. I'll take the congressional perp walks, but I doubt we'll ever see that or even Epstein prosecutions. Oh, wait. There's going to be people out there agreeing with you, including cousin Sheri.
Yeah. I just want to see some pockets of fraud. That'd be great. Just to get rid of the Somalian fraud and just a few. I just want to see something.
You can't stop the spending on accounts of fraud and not charge anybody with fraud. And if you think that all of those people that are and especially with the level of intelligence we've seen them present to the media, if you think all those people or a sizable number of those people are not going to give up who their managers are, who taught them how to set this up, if you're not, they're not going to say. I mean, they're kicking up to foreign governments. I'd love to see what the GDP of Somalia becomes the year after the fraud stops. I would love to see how the GDP of Somalia dips.
Yeah.
After the fraud stops. Like, I mean, that's just one marker because we know that there are a lot of different places.
Get that congresswoman out. She's part of this.
There's a lot of shit going on. Awakened Boomer says, hi, Frank, Sheri, and Robin. Robin is a treasure, and I love her upbeat take on things. Okay. And then Grimbold72 says, I got here. I can't wait to watch the first half of the show. This is the best show. Support this guy. And Grimbold, thank you so much for your wonderful generosity. I really can't thank you enough. I'm going to take the rest of your super chats to the flip side. I put the link in the chat room. Please click on through. We'll see you there, and we'll be talking until the lights go off in about, 19 minutes. So join us on Pilled. It's a crazy chat. I mean, we say whatever the hell we want over there, even more so than right now. And I'll see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Sheri, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Okay. Damn it! How can I do it every night?
What was the wrong button?
Yeah, no, I forgot to play the flip
side. Oh.
There you go. Thank you, everybody. Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience. And now, all of our super chatters. Jeannie Yankee Fan, Pink Sales, Stow Stew, Mark Swan, Eli P, and Sibba Steve, Jay Britz, a whole bunch of others that we're going to be loving down in just a moment here. So click on through, and we will see you tomorrow night at 7. Thank you so much. Good night.
Think about it, though, Tone. So weight loss.
AIDS? Nobody's got AIDS. I don't want to hear that word here again.